Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today we'll talk about a couple of topics. The H1B season is starting on 6th of March. We'll also talk about the DUI related bill that might impact anybody who is in immigration. We'll talk about some EB1C misconceptions. We'll talk about the status of any immigration related bills that were in the talk and few questions about the Canada open work permit that few people had got last year. So a lot of interesting topic guys. Watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration and lifestyle related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before you take any action, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. Now I have a new sponsor for this video, which is Aura. The link is in the description and we'll come to it in a moment. Also, if you like this video, do hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel because that will greatly benefit the channel. And if you want to get in touch with me for my perspective on your situation or immigration situation, do set up a time with me via Calendly or hit me up on Patreon. Now with that said, this is the first topic of the day. Now there is this HR 6976 Protect Our Communities from DUIs Act. The bill was introduced by Representative Barry Moore in the January. It was in the House Judiciary Committee and there has been the first roll call vote on it. And it actually passed the House. Now let's look at what does the text on this say. It says that inadmissibility and deportability related to driving while intoxicated or impairment. Now any alien who has been convicted or who admits having committed or who admits committing acts which constitute essential elements of offense for driving while intoxicated or impaired, including an offense for driving while under the influence or impaired by alcohol or drug, without regard to whether the conviction or offense is classified as misdemeanor, felony under the federal, state, tribal or local law, it inadmissible. So this HR 6976 law, if enacted, which is already passed in the House by the way, it has to pass in the Senate and go to the President's desk in the same format. If that happens, DUI will be considered inadmissible in the immigration terms. Anybody who has a DUI who goes through the background check in the 485 stage of the application may get their application denied. I really wanted to bring this point up because this law is under the radar. It is not much in the news, this HR 6976, and if it is already passed by the House and if it passed the Senate and if it gets passed and signed by the President, this will make DUI inadmissible in immigration terms. At this point of time, it is not inadmissible, but in future it may be. So simple things like you getting back from a work event where they had a project related party and you had a couple of drinks and you get caught driving and got a ticket, it might land you into the hot waters in immigration world. So be conscious of that and act accordingly. So unless you have a green card or citizenship, you don't want to drink and drive at all. So don't drink and drive, or better yet, don't drink at all. So that was my first reminder of the day. Hope you will appreciate me for that. And that brings me to the sponsor of today's video. Have you ever done the Google search of your own name? Look what I have found when I did mine. Here's what comes up. While some of this information is relevant, the other makes me uncomfortable that my information is exposed for a sale like this. Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, or anybody else who may want to target you. Your full name, email address, home address, your relatives' names, health information, it's all out there. That's why I have been using Aura, sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out request for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it also protects me from hackers who could use this information to help them access my social media accounts, bank accounts, or other sensitive information. Aura does so much more to protect my information and my family's information from online threats I can't see. I get other features like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. It's really easy to set up, and best of all, I get everything for one affordable price. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like locking the front door but leaving your back door wide open. Aura is always on, doing the hard work of keeping me safe so I can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. I value my privacy and I value yours. You can go to my link which is on the screen and in the description and start your free 2 weeks trial. So protect your information, your family, and have a peace of mind. That's Aura. My next topic is regarding EAD and what was the volume. Now all of a sudden USCIS has released some data for the last several years for EAD related applications, how many applications came in and so on. So as you can see here, this is the data that they provided. Form 765, application for employment authorization, eligibility criteria and filing type. From 2003 to 2022, data consists of receipts, approvals, denials for application of EAD. Data are classified by eligibility category and filing type for those fiscal years. Now let's quickly look at what we can derive from this. Now here are all these categories that they have mentioned where EAD is applicable, and as you can see I have highlighted two of these rows over here. For this particular year, which is 2022, the received applications were 473,000, out of which approved were 311,000 and 103,000 were denied. So 1 in 4 petitions for EAD were denied. Now EAD replacement denials were also in the same rate. I was hoping that they gave us the processing time data as well, but they haven't given any other data. But as you can see, EAD renewals or EAD applications were way too high. If you look at 2021 data compared to 2022, again if you come down to the same two lines, you can see it was 320,000 and out of which 111,000 were approved. So the applications for EAD were quite lesser 1 year before, which was pandemic season. So year after year since 2020 to 2021 to 2022, about 100,000 applications, EAD applications were added every year. Is that probably the reason why EADs are getting delayed? Right now I'm seeing EADs getting delayed anywhere between 6 months to a year, which is very high time. It used to be that EADs used to get approved within 2 to 3 months. Now it's taking well over 6 months to up to a year. And in some instances you also have to expedite it because of your job situation. So I just thought this data was kind of interesting, why the EADs, maybe there are more categories opened up, but this is all 485 EADs that we are talking about. I am expecting that these EAD number of applications will come down because now they have started giving 5 years validity for EADs. So people may not have to extend them as much as often. So that will be a saving grace, and that will probably bring down the processing time for EAD renewals as well. So we'll see what happens. Now next topic is H1B. Now H1B for FY25 starts, the process starts at least on 6th of March. Now they have given a timetable of how this process is going to look like and what are the different changes this year that USCIS is taking. Obviously they wanted to reduce fraud. We'll see what happens. In the last couple of years there had been a lot of fraudulent applications, but now they are putting checks and balances in place where more people from the same organization are involved in application of your H1B. There will be less fraud. There won't be situations where where anybody can apply anybody's H1B just for $10 application fee. So we'll see what happens. Let me know your experience if you are going through the H1B application lottery. If you have any experience with that, how this new system works, it will be interesting to see, and I will share my thoughts on this process in my future videos. Talking about H1Bs, I will also like to remind you that people who are transitioning from OPT to H1B change of status, they have to be careful about their gap. Make sure you apply for that while your H1B is yet to be approved. Do not accumulate any unlawful presence because that will haunt you for the rest of your immigration process. It is easy to overlook when you are going through this process, and a lot of students fall into this trap. If you want my tips, do contact me on my Calendly or my Patreon, and I'll give you some safe tips and advice from the experience that people have shared with me. Since this is an H1B season, I wanted to caution on that. I might make a special video specifically on this situation. Now next topic is, some people have gotten back to me regarding their situation where they have received their Canada Open Work Permit. So remember last year Canada had opened up work permit applications for 10,000 applicants or 20,000 applicants. I can't remember the exact number, but they use that number quite fast. Now there are still some people who haven't made the decision to move to Canada. I would say vast majority of them fall in this category. They are still contemplating whether to go to Canada or not. Now there are a couple of scenarios to consider here. One is if your priority date in the United States is way out there. In the sense, if your priority date in EB2 or EB3 category is beyond 2017-2018, you should seriously think about going to Canada, either for EB1C or to get Canadian citizenship. Either option is not a bad choice. See, if you want to try for EB1C, you have to stay outside of the United States for at least a year, work for a non-US entity of the same company in a managerial capacity at least for a year, and then come back and you may qualify for EB1C. This is an absolute requirement. If you have never worked outside of the United States since you graduated, and even if you are in managerial capacity in the US, you will not qualify for EB1C. There is some misconception out there and people keep contacting me about this point, but EB1C requirements are quite clear. If you have any questions, do contact me. Coming back to the Canada option, it's a really good option and many people are availing it as well. Canada has the proximity to the United States, you can always come back, but availing this option is a very good idea, especially if you can work through this EB1C process by living in Canada. Even if not, if you can get a job in Canada, LMI approved job, you can qualify for those job related points for your permanent residency. You can get permanent residency within 2 to 3 years, and then you can apply for citizenship in the next 3 years. Within 5 to 6 years you can be a Canadian citizen, and at that point of time you can decide if you want to continue to stay in Canada or come back to the United States. I have lots of thoughts, lots of experience regarding this area, and I will be happy to share it with you. And lastly, I wanted to talk about these bills that we have been talking about that had immigration clauses within it. None of these bills have passed. There was a spending bill, there was a Senate appropriations bill. It did not pass. Although there was a spending package bill that was passed in the Senate, which is now probably not going to come up in the House, but that did not have the immigration clauses either. So sorry to bear the bad news, but there has not been any immigration changes recently. Some people were expecting it and were asking me, so I wanted to cover this point as well. Anyways, that's all I wanted to cover in this topic. If you like the content of this video, do hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. Don't forget, I will be announcing the winner of the giveaway by end of February. So if you haven't already commented, do comment because I read them and I get the ideas for my next video. So that's all, and I'll see you in the next one.